40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Howdy, folks. Welcome into week number 6 of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. Apologies for that. Okay, this is interesting. So it was working just not long ago, and our race feed has decided to go out on us. There we go. It's back. Sorry. Apologies for that, everybody. Yes, the GoSquadra Formula Super Series is back. You may recognize that this is not Tommy Cook, your main man and captain of the broadcast. Usually, he is on a well-deserved vacation, a trip out east in the United States. And it is Matt Williamson here with Jeff Mathis on color commentary. Jeff, great to have you here in the broadcast booth. Qualifying is underway, and this is you described this as a quick track, but also a slow, fast track all at the same time. What is the test that the drivers have against them here today?
Thank you, Matt. It's good to be with you. I've had the chance to do this with Tommy a couple times. Now I get to do it with you. How lovely. So yes, we have a very warm, both ambient and track here. Imola is a fairly short track, just under 5 kilometers, a little over 3 miles. So it's a good mid-sized track. However, it is fast because it has a lot of good straightaways, good elevation change. But most of the corners here are actually chicanes, so you spend a lot of corners here in second and third gear, not a lot going on, then you got very fast straightaways. So it's a quick lap time, but you don't get to spend a lot of time with those good high-speed corner loads. that the Super Formula loves so dearly.
Okay. We are going through it right now.
Yep, I am just now seeing on the tape delay how magical this is. Currently, it looks like Thiago Spencer's the fastest, with Felipe Silva and Titus Sherlock right with him, so that's all pretty normal. Looks like we're trending towards a low 24 as our qualifying poll, so about half of the qualifying session left here.
About half the session, still some times being put up. Byron Daly just put in his second lap. It's good enough for 9th as Kostic goes to 8th on the board.
An important note is in this series we now have the ability to run rain sessions. We have not yet. Last week we qualified in the wet. Looking forward here, we're not certain because the weathermen obviously aren't always 100% correct. We may be seeing some rain coming up shortly, so qualifying even more important than normal.
And Titus Sherlock just puts himself above Thiago Spencer, and now Spencer will go to the top of the board. Immediately following, we'll see if Felipe Silva can do any better than 3rd. It does not appear so. A better lap on the 3rd lap, but not good enough to oust Titus or Thiago. So Felipe Silva currently sits there 3rd in the order. We'll look for Joao Di Gregorio to work on his 3rd lap. He'll cross the start-finish line. Will not be good enough to advance his position on the grid. So sticks around here in 4th for now. And yeah, you kind of mentioned the rain that we might have coming up in the sprint race. It's almost a little bit backwards of what happened at Road America last week. We had some wet conditions for qualifying, but then everything else after that was completely dry. We have dry conditions here in qualifying today at Imola, and we may have some wet conditions come the sprint race. So it's always very tricky for the drivers when you qualify in one condition and then the race conditions are completely different. So drivers are going to have to be on their toes here tonight, no doubt about it.
Yeah, looking pretty consistent up front. Joao did improve his lap time there when he got closer to Silva, but he did not eclipse him. Solwege, I believe, is still on a lap. Most of the other drivers were now 8 minutes into this 10-minute session are done. So Solwege may be one of the few that I think still has an actual timed lap to look at. Moss may as well.
Yeah, Moss just finished up his, and it was not his best lap of qualifying.
But it was Solwege's fastest lap, and he has now gone to 3rd at 24.250. That only puts him a full 10th of a second off of Thiago on the pole.
Sebastian Gianni just put in their final lap as well, and it was their fastest lap of qualifying, and that's good enough for 11th. So it looks like just one more driver that would have an opportunity to put a lap in, but I'm not sure there will be enough time. I don't think Kevin has even taken his white flag yet, and with only a minute left, will not have the opportunity to get a qualifying lap in. But that's all right. If there's going to be wet conditions off the start, maybe it's not such a bad thing to start towards the rear of the field. We'll have to see. Let's get some driver standings here for you. These are going to be the overall driver standings coming into tonight. Joao Di Gregorio is still able to hold on to the points lead over Thiago Spencer, 16 points ahead at the moment. Tanner DeFabis will sit in 3rd with Titus Sherlock in 4th. Caustic Soul Wedge will be in your top 5. Byron Daly, Christian Jasper, Jeff Groff, Michael Costello, and Kevin Bonomi are your top 10. Outside the top 10, Cody Claiborne, Nate Siefker, Zach Flaum, Felipe Silva, Justin Noel, Kyle Allen, Sarah Guerra, Jeremy Carters, Zach Smith, and Matt Schlosser are your top 20, as that is 10 minutes of qualifying completed, and we are going to get headed to our sprint race. And boy, oh boy, you can see it on the screen. There are raindrops, ladies and gentlemen. So things are going to get interesting here for the sprint. But it doesn't look like there's much standing water yet, so that'll be good for the start at least. Let's go ahead and get to the starting lineup.
Yes, very lightly wet here. We're actually just at the start of this weather band, so we will be maintaining our standing start. So this is going to really push the drivers quite hard.
It certainly is. So here's your starting lineup coming into the sprint race. Tiago Spencer will lead them off on the line. Titus Sherlock will start in second. Caustic Soul Wedge in third. Felipe Silva will start to Caustic's outside. And starting in fifth, Draw Di Gregorio, Tanner DeFabis, Michael Costello, Nate Siefker, Christian Jasper, and Jeff Groff will be your top 10. Sebastian Gianni, Byron Daly, 11th and 12th. Tommy Ravala and Tristan Moss will be 13th and 14th. Matt Schlosser, Nick Goyette, Cody Claiborne, Brian Labarge will be your top 18. And Dakota DeMade, Zach Flaum will round out your top 20. Outside your top 20, Justin Noel, Sarah Guerra, Zachary Smith, Jeremy Carter, and Kevin Bonomi will be your top 25 and your 25 starters here in the sprint race.
We do have a few that are going to be trying to serve their pit lane starts here. We're going to be very interesting. I don't know if it's really wet enough. There may be somebody who's going to try to brave this on some dry tires, as we could, in theory, make this work out, but it's time to get racing.
And the lights are out for the drivers. Green flag has dropped here in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series at Imola. Oh, one driver off into the grass already on the start. I believe that was Siefker there for a moment. As Sherlock and Silva battling with Soul Wedge coming in to try and make it 3 wide. That is not going to work out too well. They back out of it.
We got Zachary Smith across the gravel, who's able to continue on. So far, knock on wood, we've had a maybe not necessarily a clean start, but a calm start.
I mean, all things considered, our first race start in wet conditions here in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series, things have been okay so far.
Yeah, a little loose moment there for Guerra. She continues, no problem there. Tiago seems to have a pretty good lead over Sherlock so far, so as long as he can be smart, he'll have a good position. Also worth noting, Tiago gained $10 more.
A little bit further back, Siefker and DeFabis just about got together.
And we do have one around. I think that was Sebastian Gianni.
Yeah,
spun coming out of the second chicane there.
Pretty good, pretty decent qualifying effort for Sebastian there, but yeah, unfortunately, ends up having an issue and will go towards the back of the field here.
He was able to continue, so hopefully won't impact him too bad.
That is one lap on the board here at Imola. Wow, that is a deep dive there and nearly contact between Di Gregorio and Silva. You see the sun starting to come out now as Silva pushed off the racetrack just a little bit, was very aggressive there into that tight right-hander, and is going to drop 2 or 3 positions at least.
Yeah, this is a very tough spot for them. We were kind of getting some intermittent rain here at the beginning, so they need to be gentle to their tires so that if rain comes back, they're still going to be in a pretty decent way. So they need to make sure to look for puddles. A few they could find.
Some more side-by-side there as Moss gets by Silva. So Silva has dropped all the way down to 10th at this point. Oh, Byron Daly's had a problem.
Daly spun off. I don't think he got any assistance, but he did continue on, so he's back there with DeMade right now.
And now Jeff Groff is off the racetrack in that very tight left-hand turn. Boy,
So he had a very simple off and on.
Yeah, lots of drivers struggling with the wet conditions of the racetrack here. There are people jumping all over this leaderboard. Christian Jasper, he is through the grass on the inside.
Definitely a little more serious. He's missing his left side pod and immediately taking it to pit lane.
That was in the penultimate corner. And you can see the rear end of these cars slipping and sliding all over the place.
Oh, we have Gayer around again. She's not been having a particularly strong race so far. She's definitely been to the pits at least once so far.
Titus Sherlock had a little bit of a run down that short chute, but was not able to pull the trigger on Tiago Spencer. But that was about as close as Sherlock has been to having an opportunity at that top spot. But with those two battling up in front, that's allowing Costello and Di Gregorio to continue to march their way towards those two up front. Di Gregorio and Costello just about got together there. Sherlock kind of fakes to the inside, now pulls around to the outside, dead even.
Oh, they got it. Oh, it looks like they're Tiago.
And the right rear wheel is completely dislodged from the race car. I mean, that didn't look like that hard of contact.
These cars, it's very easy for not very significant contact to manifest very aggressively.
Wow.
They're very spindly little cars.
That is certainly disappointing, as that will be the end of the sprint race for Spencer.
Ooh, Solwage may have gotten into the back of one of the Eclipse cars there. We'll figure out here what happens to DeFabus. Looks like he may have some damage out of that. Yep, DeFabus has lost his rear wing.
Certainly does. He lost the rear wing, and in the very next corner, he goes around. There is a lot we can look back at with not much time to look back at any of it.
A 15-minute FSS race usually gives about 20 minutes of replays. DeFabus was able to continue, although with a missing rear wing, I imagine he's not in a particularly grand spot here. He currently does not have a meatball.
A couple of really big offs there. Dakota DeMade. I think, Goyette has gone off towards the back of the field. Their drivers have been going through the grass continuously.
Yeah, these conditions are definitely pushing the drivers pretty hard. DeMade with a meatball. He's one of 3 people that currently have meatballs.
Yeah, there was a big moment there.
Oh, Claiborne off and on. He's able to continue.
Tom Raval, Justin Noel going at it here. Brian Labarge in this battle as well. Noel is able to get through, and you see Labarge having to battle Tommy hard there. A little bit further ahead. Tristan Moss, Matt Schlosser, Cody Claiborne, they're all here together as well.
Important note with Claiborne, he is currently the top leading AM, and he is leading, I believe the second place AM car is Tommy Ruval in 14th place currently. So potentially a very good day for him points-wise.
Yeah, and Claiborne's position, well, that may be a little bit of a commentator's jinx there, as Claiborne has a bit of a spin. Still able to continue. Nothing too terribly wrong there for the 31. But does lose a position or two. He'll drop back to 12th.
Still well ahead of Ruval.
Oh,
I believe maybe missing the left side.
Siefker's off into the grass trying to make a move on Joao Di Gregorio. I don't know if Joao has maybe some sort of damage. I mean, he was right through the rear of Solwedge not that long ago, and all of a sudden he's 3 seconds back.
When DeFabus had his issue, there was definitely some contact when DeFabus actually ended up spinning. So Joao may have a hurt front wing out of it all. Definitely lucky to be continuing in the 4th position, given how close that all could have been.
Less than 6 minutes to go here in the sprint race. They go by so quickly here. We'll go on board with Siefker as he is trying to track down Di Gregorio here for 4th.
Well, there goes Di Gregorio off and back on. He's not going to lose much, but he will lose a position. Felipe Silva is really no concern behind. Yeah, so this is the hard part of the race where there's definitely enough spray, definitely enough where you do want the rain tires, but another 4 laps of this little of rain could make tire conservation very important. Joao is really focusing hard on making sure he's running off the normal line on the straightaway, so that's really good from him. So we'll have to see if that impacts him any further.
Yeah, and you see Siefker get through to 4th, but locked up those front tires into that sharp left-hander coming towards the start-finish line. So that's kind of what you're talking about. Siefker's really pushing it. Maybe Di Gregorio trying to save a little bit here.
We have Flaum and Daly going side by side. Flaum just lets him by. That's a very simple pass. Brian Labarge currently has no engine cover, but is continuing, so that's something.
So it's Michael Costello out in front of Titus Sherlock. So after issues there around the lead, Costello able to keep it clean. Oh no, he's spun now. So now Sherlock will overtake the lead. Unbelievable. Costello had a pretty healthy lead over 1.5 seconds and spun it there into that right-hander.
And watching Solwedge here, Sherlock definitely doesn't appear to be the 1.8 seconds up the road that timing and scoring shows. So I think Solwedge could be a dark horse here, as Costello looks up the inside from far too far back.
Not only that, Costello is right back on the horse. Just a little spin there for Costello, gives up the positions, but he is right back after it. And we know the talent, but not only the talent, the aggressiveness of Costello, as it's going to cost him here. He will have some time that he has to give back per iRacing, I'm sure, after going through the gravel trap. Doesn't seem to be giving up much time here, though.
With the natural pace loss of the rain tires, it can be pretty... the normal slowdowns may not be large enough. And he may be able to make that work, although I imagine that could put him in strife with race control.
I mean, we know how aggressive Costello could be and how good he can be as well, but boy, he just about had a race ender there. That was a very close call. Only 2 minutes left. The top three all right here together, side by side with teammates. Costello and Sherlock make contact. Sherlock is able to hang on to the lead, but boy, there was that was more than argy-bargy, to say the least.
It's FSS sure never leaves any question on how aggressive they can be. Also, Joao is back in 4th place. I don't know if that was mentioned. He's pretty good over Seifker now. He's got a almost 2-second lead over Seifker as Solway is just looking around with Costello again. Kindly backs out of it before getting into the turn, but this could give him a good run out of turn 3 here, so this could be another little battle into turn 4.
Yeah, Solway just lost a little bit of rear grip sliding around in the wet conditions. Wasn't quite able to get the run he was looking for. With just a minute left on the board, next time around will be the white flag. So we are at 2 to go at the moment, about halfway through our 8th lap.
Costello is just so strong on entry.
Yeah, I mean, for these wet conditions to be pushing it that hard, that is saying something. Now look at this. Solway is going to try and take his look. Trying to go outside in, catching Costello off guard, who was trying to take an inside line there. Wasn't able to quite work.
Ooh, Costello tried to go in there, and he actually got pushed onto the racing line. Usually the racing line's where you want it to be. However, in the rain, it can be a more polished line and actually be slicker. So that definitely impacted his ability down there. So it'll be a very tight one to go for them.
Here we go, across the line. Oh, that was the checkered. We actually made it. I did not think they were going to make it to the checker before time ran out, and it actually gave it to them.
Oh, simple enough.
Wow, a lot of times if it's even close, it will give them the white. Actually gives them the checkered here. So
Costello ended up...
Sherlock able to hold off Costello for a first there. I mean, I know, I think things are supposed to get a little bit more dry as we go along here into the feature race, but man, if there's any sort of wetness on the racetrack still when that starts, we are going to see more of the same, and it is going to be wild and crazy for the start of that feature race.
Sure is. 12th place was Cody Claiborne. That was your top AM, and the car that just snuck through to get 10th, which will be the invert pole, is Zach Flaum. So the front row for the future will be Zach Flaum and Byron Daly. That's a very mellow front row we have there.
And I know Daly earlier was talking about how he hadn't put a lot of practice in. Now that he's got some laps under his belt here, might be a contender for that feature, especially starting out front. We'll take a short break here, and when we come back, we will bring Titus Sherlock up into the booth for a little interview. We'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Turn 200's coverage of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series is presented by 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel, designed for sim racing by sim racers. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. And by GoSquadra. GoSquadra's mission is to enhance race team management across all sim racing platforms. Coming soon to GoSquadra.com.
Oh, it's gonna do this again. What? Okay,
me
well
the pull in, Titus?
we're gonna have to pull this pull the feed in again. I don't know why it keeps doing this today. Must be part of one of those small updates, which is not necessarily welcome. But welcome back. We are going to go ahead and pull your winner from the sprint race up into the booth, and that is Titus Sherlock. Congrats on the race win. That was very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Had a decent start, kept second. I'm not too sure what happened with Tiago. On my screen, I just lightly tapped him, and his wheel just popped off. So I'm not sure what it looked like from the outside, but it was some weird net code, so that's unfortunate. But then, yeah, I mean, I would definitely was probably not the fastest car out of the top three, but just kind of trying to keep it safe because I'm quite behind in points now, so I just didn't want to make any mistakes. And that ended up giving me the win, so good sprint. Hopefully we can convert it in the future as well.
Yeah, that contact with Tiago, it certainly looked extremely light. I was very surprised that the wheel just came off there. So, yeah, very strange incident. Also, a little bit of contact with Costello there fighting for the lead as well. Was very aggressive, even in the wet conditions. Were you surprised at how aggressive he was able to be with the wet?
Yeah, he's always been really good in the wet, and I was just being really careful not to make any mistakes because I've made a lot of those this season. So he was definitely a bit quicker than me, and he had a couple opportunities to go for a move, and he had the pace to do it. So I mean, nothing was dirty; it was pretty clean. So yeah, it was just a good race.
Alrighty, well, we will look forward to seeing you work your way through the top 10 here in the feature race. Anybody you want to thank or shout out first before we let you go?
Yeah, just the whole Eclipse team as always, for putting in the work on the days we're not racing. Michael, my teammate, or my co-owner as well, for having a clean race. And yeah, everyone that's partners on our car, thank you.
Alrighty, well, congrats on the sprint win, and good luck here in the feature.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that is your winner of the sprint race, Titus Sherlock. As we have just about a minute left here in the warm-up. Well, Jeff, we were talking a little bit off air there while we were in the mid-race break. But what did you think of the first race in the wet conditions? We've had qualifying, but really no racing yet in the wet for the Formula Super Series. Was it everything that you hoped it would be?
It was definitely everything I hoped it would be. That worked out really quite good. I was really pleased to see just how aggressive the racing could maintain, and even with the poor conditions, so that was really quite impressive. Especially, also a little impressive was how good Tiago was doing up until about 10 seconds ago. Did a 1:27 while doing an interview. Also, it is a warm-up session, so the track has warmed up. It was about 30 degrees Celsius, or about 28 for the race there. Now we're up to 44, so about a 40 Fahrenheit degree swing in temperature. It's going to be a lot warmer and a little bit more normal for what they expect. So it's going to be a pretty frantic, clean, dry race here. We'll see.
Yeah, certainly going to be different conditions than we had in the sprint race. There's no doubt about that. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers are able to adapt not only their technique, but also their mental fortitude going into the dry conditions. We will go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup for the feature race. And starting on the pole, as we mentioned, will be Mr. Zach Flaum with Byron Daly starting on his outside. Starting on the second row, Matt Schlosser and Tristan Moss will be your second row. Felipe Silva and Nate Siefker will start in the third row with Joao Di Gregorio and Kostek Solwich in the fourth row, 7th and 8th. Starting in 9th, Michael Costello and your sprint winner starting in 10th. Titus Sherlock, Kevin Bonomi, Cody Claiborne, Justin Wells, Jeff Drum, Jeremy Carter, Sebastian Gianni, Nick Goyette, Brian Labarge, your top 18 as we are going green. Zach Flaum leading us, showing us the way. Oh, big contact already. That is Silva, and he comes right across the racetrack. Boy, that happened in a hurry, but honestly, for him coming across the racetrack like that, that could have been much, much worse than it ended up being. Siefker currently your leader, though, as Flaum has dropped a few positions down to 5th. That was certainly a start.
I don't believe anybody has actually towed yet. Silva is quite slow, so the car is crabbing a little bit, so I imagine his race is all but done at this point.
The very aggressive moves here from Costello and Sherlock. They are already up to 3rd and 4th. Di Gregorio struggling a bit. He's actually lost his front wing, so that is certainly not what you want going into the longer feature race. Will have an opportunity to come down pit road, and I think that front wing can go on fairly quickly, but will be definitely struggling up until that point.
He definitely will be, and this also will not be able to count as his mandatory pit stop. So he will be required to do another pit stop after 10 laps or 20 minutes. So short of a caution, his day is getting quite long quite quickly.
Oh no, Siefker is around in the front. Costello was able to get through on Schlosser, so Costello will take over the lead. It was hard to tell if Schlosser and Sherlock made any contact with Nate Siefker up front there. They look and appear to be okay, but boy, that was a close call.
Moss also had an off and on there down turn 1, and Joao is just exiting the pit lane with a new front wing as Silva finally enters the pit lane.
So Sherlock doing some time behind Matt Schlosser here in the 400 as Costello has taken over the lead already, and now Sherlock will have his opportunity to get through on Schlosser. So Sherlock can look his way towards Costello here. And Titus talked about how aggressive Costello is able to be even in the wet conditions. Just a great racer in the wet is what Sherlock made it sound like. But now we have dry conditions. Maybe Sherlock will have something for Costello here under some different race conditions in the feature race. Still a long ways to go. Some tire save on the table, no doubt. And Sherlock is going to set his sights towards first place as DeFabis makes his way up through. He gets a 2-for-1 there on Claiborne and Flaum. Oh no, and Matt Schlosser has now towed to the pits. So it looks like Schlosser may be out of this one now, running in 3rd. When it happened,
Moss is also actually disconnected from the entire session, so he is out as well. Notice he was having a particularly tough go of it.
He must have alt F4'd because he just disappeared from the racetrack without towing to the pits, I think. So that is that's always a tough feeling when it's just not going your way. Iago Spencer, I believe, just got through on Jeff Groff, so Spencer is up Up 11 spots now. Now, oh no, and there's an off track, and that is Sebastian Gianni. So Spencer and company will get another position out of it. Sebastian will drop all the way down to 20th. Joao Di Gregorio is sitting there in 21st, pretty far behind after coming down pit road to get that front wing replaced.
He definitely has some pretty good pace and definitely has the chance of making up a lot of time, but that puts him in a very rough spot either way.
Looks like Justin Noel had an issue as well. Now Noel is missing that front wing.
Now he may be in a close enough spot as we're already 6.5 minutes into the race. He very well may elect to try to hold on to it and pit as early as possible when the pit's open, so he only has to pit one time, rather than Joao having to basically pit at the end of the first lap.
Close racing here inside the top 10. Byron Daly in 7th, Zach Flaume in 8th, Thiago Spencer, Jeff Groff, and Nate Siefker is back at it here in 11th. They are all right here close together. We know the pace that Spencer has, but getting through a lot of traffic here in the middle of the field, very, very difficult. He's able to get one there on Flaume, and that also allows Groff and Siefker to pull right up to Zach Flaume there in the 20.
Three wide here.
They tried to high-low him there. Siefker's able to get around. Groff kind of got pinched off, so he is going to have to settle there back in 11th. Oh, and Spencer!
Everybody went off.
What in the world?
Trying to see who that was. It was Jeremy Carter was on the left side of the track there, to all of our surprise. He was running 4th the lap prior, so that's definitely put a big damper on his race.
Yeah, Carter, and then Siefker went off there as well.
As I was watching him, Guerra also had a quick off and on. Continued, though.
Quick replay here. Oh, Siefker made a little bit of contact with Spencer. That put Siefker through the gravel trap. Spencer went right over the curbing, and Carter was already off the track in front of them. So a couple of incidents all coming together at one time there.
Definitely one of those incidents where he just keeps you on your toes. A lot going on very quickly.
I mean, that's just these race cars. They're quick. You can make very swift, quick maneuvers. They're not very wide. They're just very maneuverable, and it creates ample opportunity to make very aggressive moves. But at the same time, it just all happens so quickly.
It sure does, and with these cars, with the amazing ability these cars have with their downforce and their brakes specifically, it also makes it to where to outbrake somebody, you have to be last of the late breakers in a car with amazing brakes. So any passes you want to try to make on the brakes are always terrifying.
Now that was Tanner DeFavis off the racetrack, so DeFavis will drop back to 18th now. Try and take a look at some of the replays here in the feature race, a little bit of a longer format, get a better opportunity to take a look. And this is also into treacherous turn number 1. Just a self-spin got in a little too hot there into the corner. Oh, and there's another off track. That is Cody Claiborne, who finished first in the AM division there in the sprint race. And now it'll be
to compound
Tommy.
his issues. Yeah, to compound his issues, Smith also was getting by Jasper just the corner prior, so I think he went from 1st to 3rd in class there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Tommy Raval, Zach Smith now in 9th and 10th. And Claiborne's going to drop all the way back to 17th. So, I mean, still plenty of time left as long as the car doesn't have too much damage. I mean, he'll have plenty of time. He's got a lot of pace here today as well. If he can keep it all 4 tires underneath of him, he should have an opportunity to make some positions up. Up front, Costello and Sherlock and Solwedge still first through third. We're taking a look at the battle for 6th right now. Flaum currently has it. Spencer and Siefker are chasing Flaum. And Siefker and Spencer are going to have an opportunity to go after it again. Remember, they made contact in turn 1 just a few laps ago that put them both in a vulnerable position. And there's the big dive to the inside from Spencer, not able to make it stick. Siefker tried to take advantage, and here comes Tiago Spencer down pit road, 10 minutes.
Oh, I do wonder. That may be too early because I believe it is 10 laps or 10 minutes, and I have not heard the call from race control that the pits are open yet.
Oh, no, there's an off-track. Jasper and Smith. Oh, just missed the first corner. Take a look back at that one. I believe this is Christian Jasper who misses turn number 1. He does right over the curbing and takes out Zach Smith. So that is going to shake things up in the AM division again as Claiborne is able to get around Smith. As Smith drops back to 16th in the running order. And you're right, Jeff. Before that, you mentioned that typically they call out when pit road is open, and that has not been called yet.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of curious. I went and took a look at it. Tiago did change his front wing. It did have a damaged right front main plane. But I'm not certain on that. I believe he may still have to pit again, so I'm not overly certain what the plan is here. As Jasper has brought the car back into the pits again. Also, I don't get to say this very often, but it looks like Bonomi could be in strife of getting lapped here shortly. Very odd. He's usually an incredibly fast driver, and I'm imagining he's got some ailments that he's dealing with right now. Because usually his pace is, I can't tell you the last time I've ever heard him, even his name and being lapped being said together. So I'm sure he's in a wounded car, but that will be a notable point for our leaders here, probably the next few laps.
Ooh. And yeah, and you see Costello right there in the same shot as Bonomi, really getting the rear of that car, hanging out there. Sherlock not too far behind. Actually, Kostek Solwedge has started reeling in Sherlock here throughout the last couple of laps. And it seems like both of them are reeling in Costello at the same time. So your top 3 is starting to all come together here just under 15 minutes into this feature race.
Yeah, it shows on my timing and scoring feed that Sherlock's 7-lap average and all of his averages are faster than Solwedge, but Solwedge currently has the fastest lap of the race at a 24.7, which is the 2 Eclipse boys in front of him are both 24.9, so he is definitely very fast.
Yeah, that 24.7 for Solwedge came just that last lap around, so Solwedge is turning the pressure on at the right time here. Towards the end of the run. I know in these race cars, it kind of depends on the track whether you want to pit, towards the middle of the race, or sometimes we see them stretch it way towards the end of the race as well. Do you have any insight to tonight? Have you talked to anybody about kind of what the preferred strategy might be here at Imola?
Well, typically the preferred strategy is to go long and try to really spend as much time. These tires take a long time to heat up, and they're very, very hardy tires. However, with the very high track temp that we have and the relatively high loading that this track offers, with the big vertical compression and aqua minerale, the double right-hander, the middle lap, it's potential we could see more drivers making early pit stops, and per race control, pits are now open.
And Dakota Domain is going to waste no time taking his opportunity to come down pit road.
Sure, for a handful of our drivers with front wing issues and side pod issues, the earlier they can get some changes made, the happier everybody is.
Yes,
it's like Costello has pretty much caught Bonomi. Now, there is no, it's much like IndyCar until you're lapped by the whole field. There is no command blue flag. So, it is not, Bonomi does not have to let him by. So, it may be worth Costello pitting or Bonomi pitting and just making sure it's not a problem. Bonomi does elect to pit and remove himself from that problem. Hopefully, Bonomi's pace will be a little more representative of his actual ability, because he must have had some. It doesn't appear he's got any issues. His top speed looked normal, but
oh, look at this Sherlock! A huge dive to the inside, and Sherlock is able to take over the lead into turn number 1. We saw
phenomenal
Costello in the wet was the one taking those big chances. This time, Sherlock able to get on the binders hard and really push it into turn 1 there, and is able to take over the lead. And now Costello has to deal with Soul Wedge.
Yeah, all of a sudden Sherlock's fastest lap went to a 24.5 that last lap. So he's found something and really wants to get going. As Soul Wedge is really making sure Costello has to stay honest here.
Yeah, pretty big moment there for Soul Wedge as well. Trying to turn into that corner, got the front end of that car pretty upset. So, yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, Sherlock has taken off. He has almost a 2-second lead over Costello now.
Yeah, Costello's having to play with Soul Wedge here. That's allowing Sherlock to really get his head down and focus, as Soul Wedge decides to pit early. So it looks like some of the front runners are going for an early pit strategy here.
Part of that may be Soul Wedge might have felt like he was being held up by Costello there a little bit, maybe just trying to get away from Costello so he can hopefully get out on the racetrack and have a clean track in front of them. I'm sure that may have played a big part in that one.
It definitely would. Clean air really makes this car work a lot better. It really likes having airflow. It's a very, very high downforce car. So it looks like he's going to be coming out potentially with some other cars, but not in a particularly bad spot.
Nate Siefker, one of your other quicker drivers on the racetrack throughout the night, he has come down pit road as well.
Yeah, I think the track temp here is definitely on the hot end of how the races we've tend to have in these cars. So I think an early pit stop is that could be the right move. We'll know in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look. Date of the race in the sim is July 5th, and track temperature has actually risen a little bit here just in the last few laps. It's up to 117 now is the track temperature. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like it's continuing to get warmer, and that is certainly not going to help the drivers any with the tire situation.
However, if you're in a situation like Titus, where he obviously was able to hang back and then gain some amazing pace out of seemingly nowhere, he's limiting how much running he'll have to do on old hot tires at the end. So this could be, if you can make the overcut work, it's usually pretty pleasant to do.
Here comes the leader in the AM division. That is Tommy Reval.
Tiago getting around Spencer. Or no. Oh, Tiago and Sebastian Gianni, a little side-to-side contact. That could hopefully, it looked like it definitely spun Gianni off. He was able to continue. I don't think there's really any damage from that other than a massive time loss from Gianni.
Yeah, we have to remember as well that Spencer will have to come down pit road again, even though he was down once already. At least that is what we believe. The call from race control that the pits were open came 2 or 3 laps after Spencer came down.
Yes, very much so. So both Tiago and Joao they have yet to meet their pitting requirements. Joao obviously pulled off very quickly there with a broken front wing on the first lap, so
Yeah,
Spencer uncertain on him.
Yeah, and Di Gregorio has been able to make up quite a few positions. Currently is running in 8th, but as you mentioned, does still have to come down and take his mandatory pit stop for tires.
However, even if he loses a solid 30 seconds or so, he'll be back into about 15th or so, which is a great improvement over having to have done that entire first stint with no front wing. And it's very uncommon if you change your front wing early to go for a new set of tires, but given the track temp, he may have changed to a second set of tires there at the very first lap, so he may have a little bit of a tire delta on even the people who have yet to pit.
Little battle on the racetrack right now. Jeremy Carter, Cody Claiborne battling for 9th. And Di Gregorio has tracked down Goyette now, so this would put Di Gregorio in 7th on the racetrack.
A lot of the cars he's been passing are cars that still have yet to take their first pit stop.
Yeah, there's quite a few out there. Your top 4, Sherlock, Costello, Groff, and Daly have yet to come down. Then you have Kostek Solwedge there in 5th, who we saw come down pit road pretty quickly. So he is good on his pit stop. Zach Flaum, Di Gregorio, Goyette, Claiborne, Carter, Guerra, and Spencer. So that would be back to 12th. 11 of your top 12 still need to come down for the mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, I'm not exactly certain how long the pit road is here time-wise, but Solwedge being 33 seconds off of Sherlock, I imagine the worst-case scenario is 3rd for him, but if he's able to close that gap at all, he could very much worry the 2 Eclipse drivers.
Well, I do have some information on times on pit road. It appears that Solwedge spent 35.7 seconds on pit lane, and that is the quickest of any driver that has come down pit road so far. Dakota DeMade also was only on pit road for 35.7 seconds. Everybody else has been in the 36 or 37 second range. So it was a very good pit stop there for Solwedge. And yeah, I mean, if Costello and Sherlock have any sort of a hiccup, Solwedge could be in a great position there.
Yes, that is it's very important, especially a lot of the road racing guys aren't as well versed as some of our oval brethren. Being able to get it down to pit road speed as fast as possible and really get lined up in the box perfectly, that may have really quite aggressively helped Solwedge, as it looks like Groff has entered the pits here.
Yeah, Groff and Daly, so 2 of your top 5 have now come down pit road with just about 16 minutes remaining.
And for those that are watching that are not used to the Super Formula, you cannot fuel, so it's only a tire stop. And so it's a very, it's all about your positioning in the pit box and getting into and out of it, because there's no way to be able to make up any extra time by taking a little less fuel.
Thiago Spencer just turned the purple lap of the race. Here comes your leader. Sherlock Costello will be coming in right in behind.
All right, so this is where Solwedge's work could really pay off. as he is actually currently about a car length and a half behind Bonomi, so this could factor in very aggressively.
Yeah, Soul Edge really wants to try and get by. I think Bonomi is going to give him the room to do so, but Soul Edge did have to spend a little bit of time behind Bonomi. That could just be enough.
Yeah, Titus is already out of pit lane now. Costello's coming to the pit exit line. So they're both out well in front. However, Solwage has got a big head of steam and warm tires. So Costello, for certain, could be in a bit of strife here. As Gianni's definitely going to factor into this as well.
Oh, yeah, warm tires definitely going to benefit Soul Wedge here. Sherlock, the quickest pit lane time of anybody that has come down pit road, 35.4. So Sherlock did everything and more that he needed to do on the pit stop there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Soul Wedge looking at Costello here. This is Costello being very smart on car placement.
Oh, that was a great outside in maneuver. Oh no! An off track for both of them, and Costello hits the outside wall.
Costello's like he's stopping the car. I believe he is going to be towing. Yeah, his left rear suspension's definitely hurt. That was good avoidance by both of them to not have a major car-to-car collision, but it did put Costello right on that grass there and sent him on off.
I mean, he did everything he could to slow it down before hitting the wall there to the outside, but once you get in the grass and the gravel trap, I mean, there's just really nothing you can do almost.
Sure feels like it. Now, this is probably going to put Titus in a particularly good spot. Solwage, still a very quick car, but I imagine it's enough of a bit of a breathing room that he's not going to be an immediate concern. Costello has not towed. He's very slowly trying to drive the car up the hill.
Just a few drivers that still have to come down pit road. Sarah Guerra is one of them that is down pit road at the moment. After that, it's Di Gregorio, Flaum, Goyette, Claiborne, and Spencer, your remaining drivers that will still have to come down for a mandatory pit stop. Shout out to a couple folks in the chat, by the way. Unfortunately, Nate Siefker is with us in the chat much earlier than he would like. And Pokey Sayanmon cheering on Jeremy Carter. Carter currently sits in 13th. Has taken the mandatory stop for tires already. And next on the list for Carter would be Dakota DeMade, currently in 12th.
And Dakota not terribly far up the course, so that is definitely they're on the same strategy. So definitely, it looks like Carter's got a fair few laps fewer fresher tires, so definitely could be something pretty strong there.
Yeah, I mean, as
Have
that
to keep an
run
eye on him later on.
continues to come to Carter, certainly could have an advantage here in a few laps' time, but the time is ticking away. Just under 12 minutes left here. Goyette and Flaum battling for 4th on the racetrack. This is by far the closest battle we have on the track at the moment.
And these are team cars on the same strategy currently, so have to be very smart there. Goyette currently the top AM driver, and very potentially he's a top AM driver that has yet to make a pit stop, with I believe Ruval being the top that has already stopped. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do believe that is correct. Yeah, so Claiborne's there in 6th.
And Claiborne's actually just pitting from 6th. He was 2nd in AM. We're going to see where he comes out. Very likely, even with an amazing pit stop, Rival's going to be probably going to have him.
Yeah,
Well,
Rival
it's been
was
very good to
just about-
see.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been very good to see such high quality pit lane action because everybody's been very quick on their pit cycles.
Yeah, they definitely have. I mean, it seems like when they need it the most, they're getting it done.
And Rival does come out in front of Claiborne. He's likely the AM leader-elect, although he is still a fair amount behind Goyette as long as he stays clean.
Yeah, the gap from Goyette back to Rival is about 33, maybe 34 seconds. So, I mean, Rival really can't give up much more time. Rival has to be on the button here because if Goyette is able to put another second or two on Rival, Goyette with a good pit stop could very well come out in front of the 3 car.
Speaking of Goyette in front of a car, he has gotten himself around Zach Flaum, who had yet another little quick off and on.
While we have a moment, let's take a look back at the Soul Wedge and Costello incident here. So Soul Wedge goes for a great outside in maneuver through that sweeping left-hander and then into this tight right. There's just a little bit of contact between the two. You see Soul Wedge goes off the racetrack, and then Costello, if he was on the pavement there, would have been no problem, but caught himself on the grass trying to put the brakes on, goes for the slide towards the wall, and just is not able to get it under control before hitting the tires in the fence. That took Costello out of this one, 18 laps in.
It was a valiant effort for him to try to get the car going again. It was fantastic to watch, but that was Soul Wedge made the early call to bail out and go jump all the way over the grass onto the tarmac, so he had all the time that he could have to be able to make that turn, and that appears to have been his saving grace there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If he would have just kept sailing it through there, his fate likely would have been the same.
We do have Joao down pit lane getting his mandatory set of tires.
And Zach Flaum is going to follow suit as well. So Goyette and Spencer, I believe, are your final 2 drivers that will have to make a pit stop here.
It's like Joao's going to come out just a little bit ahead of Groff here, so potentially Joao may be able to turn a lap 1 missing front wing into a top 6.
Well, I mean,
very potentially a top 5.
Yeah, I would think probably a top 5. I mean, Goyette and Spencer still have to come down pit road here. So, yeah, I mean, Di Gregorio and Groff are both in a good position for a top 5 at the moment.
That Di Gregorio kid, he's kind of good.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that is unbelievable to have to come down pit road for wing damage on the first lap of the race and fight your way all the way back for a top 5. That is pretty spectacular.
Actually, if Goyette still has to pit, which I believe is true, he's very potentially on for a podium here.
Yeah.
Which is as Di Gregorio of a race as you can physically have. That is absolutely phenomenal. Spencer, he stays out yet another lap. I don't think we have too many that are still left running that have to pit. I think it is just Goyette and Spencer, if I recall what you said correctly.
Yeah, I think that is correct. Yeah, DeMade came down right on lap 10. That was the very first lap that the pits were open. Everybody else came in after that, other than Goyette and Spencer. As Groff and Di Gregorio continue to battle out. Not incredibly close here, but one slip up from Zhao, and Jeff will be right there on the rear wing.
And very important to note for Spencer here, he does need to pit with 2 laps to with the leading car having not yet taken the white flag. That's very important rules-wise for him. So hopefully he'll be able to, he's very cognizant of it, because I don't imagine there's any reason he would have come down the pit road early. Although if he's even able to maintain the phenomenal low 35 pit cycles that everybody else has, he's kind of at best looking to come out in the 12th, 13th, 14th position.
I think we need to keep our eyes on Kostek Solej here, as he turned the purple lap of the race the last time around and was another 4/10 quicker than Sherlock on this last lap. He is reeling in Sherlock here.
Wow.
Now you gotta wonder.
That is...
Sherlock is a very smart race car driver. Gotta wonder if Sherlock is trying to save a little bit here.
Well, Sherlock, he's very smart, and he's going to realize that you only have to win by 1,000th of a second. You don't have to win by 10. So he could be driving the pace that feels most comfortable for him, that he can maintain the longest. But Kostek his fastest lap being a full 6/10 faster than Sherlock's, that's definitely enough to get Titus's attention and really make him have to be pretty cognizant of what's going on behind him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another big lap for Solej here as they're about to cross the line.
It is another strong lap. The only issue is Solej does have to be
7/10.
careful. Yeah, he does have to be careful not to run out of push to pass. He was definitely spent a lot of that lap on push to pass, so don't know exactly what his status is yet. Doesn't show him under 10 seconds on his roll hoop yet, so he's still got a little bit to play with, probably for a last little dive.
Here comes Goyette and here comes Spencer. This is their last opportunity to come in, and they are taking it. We will watch closely here as the...
Oh, as Claiborne went off right in front of them, that was a lapped car that was potentially going to be an issue. Guerra is far enough up the road that I don't imagine she is going to factor in to the overall lead battle.
Let's see where Raval and Goyette come out. Goyette does have the advantage, but Raval on warm tires will have the lap time advantage here. But it's a couple of seconds between those two drivers. As Solej and Sherlock will come across the line to take lap 27 on the board. Solej thought about a move to the outside there.
Now, from a point standpoint, Solej is not in an amazing point championship-wise. So Sherlock is probably going to be cool with a second place. However, with Joao having ran his way back up to third, any extra points he can get would be strong. And Titus is just a racing driver, so they can have a lot of good decisions in front of them, and they'll never make it. If you can just dangle that win carrot in front of them, they'll just do it.
Tanner DeFavis just made a nice move on Jeff Groff, crossing the start-finish line. So DeFavis now up to fourth.
Solej had a bit of a bobble coming out of the second chicane there. Wasn't a huge issue. Probably lost 2 or 3 tenths with it, though. So as long as the rear tire temps didn't spike too terribly hard, he'll still be in with a shout.
Tommy Raval still reeling in Nick Goyette little by little here.
I believe that was white flag shown. Solej on the push to pass, looking to the outside going into turn 1.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Really pushed Sherlock into turn 1 there, but Sherlock able to make it stick still.
Fantastic run by Solej.
Oh.
Sherlock's still having to recharge.
Look at this. Very aggressive contact between the two. Both of them off into the gravel trap.
Joao's 38 seconds behind. He's no concern. So this is still on with them. Titus is under 10 seconds on his push to pass. So he'll be out of push to pass here shortly. Solway still has a delta on the push to pass. Oh, this has turned into a mighty fine little race here. Sherlock is out of push to pass. Solway still has push to pass for the time being.
Yeah, he is
But
certainly
he's got quite
on
a
it.
gap.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost up to a second there at one point. I mean, both of them with very dirty tires after going off into the gravel, trying to make things work. Just a few more corners left. Oh, Solwedge has a big run here.
A big run, but kind of too little too late. It's going to have to be something pretty magical here as Titus was able to cleanly get out of the final corner. So I don't think there's going to be too much there. That was a very solid race by Titus.
Great final corner for Titus Sherlock, and he will take the sweep here tonight. The GoSquadra Formula Super Series race from Imola. Titus Sherlock wins them both here.
Joao is still coming down to the final two corners. 3 seconds ahead of DeFabus, so pretty calm from that standpoint. It will be Di Gregorio third, DeFabus fourth, and Groff fifth.
What a great drive here from Di Gregorio to take front wing
Oh,
damage.
and Goyette and Ruvial just had contact at the final chicane. Don't know exactly what happened there, but it looks like Goyette's cemented himself, potentially through his fault, potentially not, but he has cemented himself as the winner of the AM division here. Sorry for cutting you off there, but that was a little bit of an extra moment.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I mean, DeMade was able to get through on Reval, so something certainly happened. Maybe Reval just going for a last second push there.
Oh, they did go through the chicane side by side. Oh, it's just, it was on throttle exiting the chicane. It's very tall curbs here to prevent the Formula One cars from using too much of the track.
And let's take a look. Here's the replay. Oh, yeah, both of them side by side. And yeah, Reval just trying to get onto the power quickly, and yeah, just a little slip up there. Great.
Before you go on to all the pro stuff, I just want to let the AM class get them a moment in the sun. Goya wins an AM, Reval second, Smith third, Guerra fourth, Claiborne fifth. He was the last running AM car, and he was actually all the AM cars finished. There is a statement above.
That is awesome. AM class was great here tonight, even though there's only a few of them out there. They really put on a great show for us. So yeah, shout out to the AM drivers throwing it down here tonight. Let's go ahead and get to the full finishing rundown here for you, and then we will get to your interviews for the evening. Well, maybe. It's not going to give me the overlay, but we'll just go ahead and run through them anyway. Titus Sherlock takes the double here, the sweep at Imola. Caustic Solwedge, a great race here in the feature. That was fun to watch. Both of them go after it there towards the end, but Sherlock came out on top. What a drive from Joao Di Gregorio. Takes the damage, missing the front wing after the first lap, and still able to come away with the podium. That is pretty unbelievable. Great drive by him. Tanner DeFabus, a great drive to finish in fourth. Jeff Groff in fifth. Byron Daly finishes sixth. Didn't sound like he was super confident coming into the night with not a lot of practice, but I think he'll probably take a sixth-place finish here in the feature. Tiago Spencer came out in seventh. Nick Goyette, your AM class winner, will finish in eighth. Dakota DeMade, Tommy Reval will be your top 10. Jeremy Carter, Zachary Smith, Sarah Guerra, Zach Flaum, and Cody Claiborne will be your top 15. Outside the top 15, Kevin Bonomi, Sebastian Gianni, Brian Labarge, and I think those are your drivers that actually finished, so that will be through 18th. From here on out, these are DNFs: Michael Costello, Nate Seifker, Christian Jasper, Justin Noel, Tristan Moss, Matt Schlosser, and Felipe Silva will be your 25 drivers that took the green flag here tonight. Alrighty, folks, let's go ahead and get to your interviews for the evening, and we'll go ahead and start out with your AM class winner for the feature race, and that is Nick Goyette. Congratulations. Nick, we got you up in the booth. You got a copy? Oh, Goyette may have taken a little break there. We'll see if we can get him back here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and go in search of another interview here for you. I don't see Di Gregorio in the Discord. In fact, I don't see Soul Edge or Sherlock in the Discord either.
Yeah, we've got Soul Wedge in Goyette, although Goyette appears to be probably cooling himself down after the race.
Well,
it was a warm day out there, I'll tell you that.
I guess we'll see if we can get Soul Edge here in the booth. I don't see Sherlock or Di Gregorio, so unfortunately we won't get to hear from Sherlock with the sweep, but let's go ahead and pull up second place finisher here in the feature race, and that is Kostek Soul Wedge. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, I guess.
Well, it was a great race here for you tonight. You obviously had a lot of pace. You had a couple opportunities to try and take the top spot from Sherlock there, but just came up a tad short. But man, you were putting in some blistering laps there. Those final 5 or 6 laps or so, reeling Sherlock in. How were those last few laps there from your point of view?
I felt like Sherlock. It was that, honestly. I probably I don't want to speak too much because of the things that happened between me and Eclipse, basically, because two of the drivers gave absolutely brilliant performance to do everything to kill me. Honestly, I've never encountered something like that in my life. I race since being 5, so it's 10 years for me now. Driving, no matter what, racing in general. I never encountered something like that. I understand teamwork, drafting, all of that. Trying to do your best because you have a teammate or something like that. I get it. For me, it's I can understand it, But yeah, I think today was a bit like the levels. The level was like a bit like too high of doing like your thing and blocking and all of that things, especially like the last lap. I left in the space. He just went straight. Same happened with Costello, so I could not do more. I was the fastest. I was faster than 8K, 6K. I survived. I gave everything, and when I'm giving everything and I'm being the fastest, some people like cannot lose, and you can really see it. It's sad that you see it from the team that has professional drivers. That's very sad.
Well, even though you had to overcome some hurdles here tonight, it was still a great race for you. Yeah, I mean, you said it. You were absolutely putting in monster laps there. throughout the feature race. So still a good one for you here. Let's get some thank yous and some shout outs here for you for some folks you want to thank before we let you go.
Thank you, Hao, because I think he crashed out again. So, yeah, that was nice space in the future race. Really, and that was really nice from him. And I think that's it.
Alrighty, well, appreciate the time and congrats on the second place finish.
Yeah.
Okay, we will go ahead and see if we can get a word in with Nick Goyette. I see quite a few here in the Discord now. So let's see if we can get a word with your AM class winner, and that is Nick Goyette.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, very good. Glad that we get to talk to you here, Nick. It was certainly an interesting night. I mean, we have the sprint race there in the wet conditions, and then we flip over to a very hot track temperature that just continued to rise throughout the feature. But you come out with a nice 8th place finish and the top of the AM class. How was it from where you were sitting?
It's just nice to finish one, I think.
Well, it was certainly very aggressive out there. There's no doubt about it. I know that the starts were pretty wild. I mean, this is a racetrack that it's very quick. The laps click off, very quickly. But there's some slower, very technical corners as well. I mean, coming into a night like this with these very quick race cars, I mean, how do you attack this? And I know that you just mentioned you're glad to finish. Do you attack it from a survival point of view?
Definitely at first. The track's really narrow, so I mean, you can make the car wider than it is, and I think I held up some faster guys doing that. But that's part of it, I guess.
Well, it was certainly a great race for you here. Congrats on the AM class win. And let's get some thank yous and shout outs here for you before we let you go.
Thanks to my wife here who lets me race in the living room. We just had a baby about 2 weeks ago, so I get some, time to practice, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. Hopefully everything is well. I'm sure that's an exciting time in the Goyette household. But, yeah, always great to get some support from the fam and getting to do some racing in the living room. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Well, congrats on the AM class win. We'll let you go and hope to talk to you next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt.
All right, that was your AM class winner, Nick Goyette. Let's go ahead and switch over to your 3rd place finisher here in the feature race, and he had an interesting drive throughout the field after the first lap. That is João Di Gregorio. Congrats on the great drive to get yourself back into a podium.
Hi guys, good night. This was a very, very strange race. I had a crash with Philip in the first lap, and I lost the whole front wing. Then I stopped and didn't change tires because tires was began to get temperature. And then I was saying to Geoff, I don't know what happened, but the tires, I think I hit like an optimal temperature. I don't know what happened. But the car was insane. It was like I was driving a rocket ship, So I did like 22 quali laps to see if I couldn't go further in the grid because I was 23 in the end of the second lap. So race went very well. Besides the damage, congratulations to Sherlock. He's very consistent, a very tough guy to beat. And Kostek is doing an amazing season. He's very, very fast, even in the rain. But today, I was very, very lucky to save, I think, tons of points. So today was a very, 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 like a championship luck,
Yeah, these are certainly the races that you'll look back on and say, man, I may have saved my championship hopes there in that one. Yeah, it was a fantastic drive after the first lap incident to get yourself back into the podium. Talk to me a little bit about the first race of the evening. It's the first race in the Formula Super Series we've had in wet conditions. How did you feel like you fared in the wet here with this car?
It was a very good race, a very careful one. Congratulations to Nick Sivsker because he was amazing in the rain. The only point that I still need to develop is like when it's not raining a lot, it's like only a few drops of rain. Because that condition, I don't think I'm very very fast. We had like a practice in Road America, and I went very quickly, but it was very wet. So I think it's something that I need to develop. But I couldn't get away of the trouble, and I think before it was very nice. I think Nate she deserved the before, but he spun in front of me. But it was a very very good race. I hope to see more water in the future.
Yeah, it was certainly fun to watch, and it was fun to watch you throughout the night. You were really putting them in hard, and yeah, it was a great time, and it's always great to get to talk to you here in a podium spot. So let's get some thank yous and shout outs here for you before we let you go for the evening.
I want to say thank you to my fiance and her a kiss. And I want to say thank you to Race Engineer, a course that I'm taking to develop racing engineering, setup and everything, and HH Timing because he will support me very well. We had like a license to use his program. It's a very very good program for endurance. And just say I was talking to Jeff. I want to give some free coaches to Formula Super Series at Sunday evening. So if anyone wants some coach to the next round, just send me a message and we figure out like labs and everything. So just that, and thank you, and see you next race.
Well, thank you for the time, and anybody out there watching that's in the Formula Super Series, you heard it. Let's get you some free coaching if you feel like you want some coaching lessons here from your third place finisher here tonight. Congrats again, Joao. Always great to get to talk to you, and hope to talk to you next time.
Thank you. See ya.
Alrighty, from Joao Di Gregorio, we will now talk to the man that sweeps the night. That is Mr. Titus Sherlock, getting it done in the wet, getting it done in the dry. It was a great evening for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Couldn't have gone much better, obviously. So very happy with the event.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, from the very get-go, you obviously have to start at the back of the top 10 there, but I mean, just within the first couple of corners, already made yourself up to third or fourth place, and kind of off to the races from there. A couple of melees there from Caustic Soul Wedge trying to run it in on you. He was extremely, extremely fast there towards the end of the race. Talk to me about trying to hold him off when he was running blistering laps there for the last few.
Yeah, he was really quick. I don't even know how he was so quick, to be honest. I felt like I was driving really good, but he just had this in the next gear. And then, yeah, on the last lap, I tried to hold the inside, and then we both kind of went wide. It wasn't my intention for that to happen, but it is what it is. And, yeah, it seemed like in the first half of the race, I was either the same or faster than him, so it definitely, the last 10 laps were quite impressive. But I had a good pit stop as well. It seemed like I had one of the faster pit stops out of the front runner, so that was good. And yeah, like you said at the start, I had a really good launch. It's probably like one of my weakest links in this car is having a good launch, but I had a really good launch, and then the seas kind of parted as well. So yeah, I think I left turn 2 or 3 and 4th, so that definitely gave me the opportunity to go for the win.
Yeah, it was. You mentioned the pit stop. I do believe that you had the shortest amount of time in pit lane out of anybody, so that certainly helped your chances there. That is something that kind of gets maybe a little bit understated how important that is. So great job there as well. Did want to talk to you. Me and Jeff Mathis were talking about the high track temperatures that we don't typically see here in the Formula Super Series. Did that change the way that you approach this race at all with the high track temperatures?
Not too much. It's just obviously you have less grip and you have to account for that. But the Super Formula inside of iRacing has very little tire deg. You can pretty easily do a whole race stint on one set of tires, so you don't really have to manage them at all. In the Indy car, it's kind of the opposite. You really do got to take care of them. But in this car, you can just push 110%. So you just got to take into account the lack of grip you'll have.
Well, appreciate the time. Big congratulations on a massive sweep here tonight. It will certainly launch you forwards in the points, no doubt about it. Let's get some shout-outs here for you before we let you go for the evening.
Yeah, shout out to the whole Eclipse team. We were all really fast. Michael, Tanner, everyone else. Zach had a good run as well. So everyone there, all of our partners on the car, Mosaic, Destination Athlete, ProGuard, all of them, thank you. And, of course, all the league admins and you guys for doing the broadcast. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate the time. Congrats again, and hope to get to talk to you next time as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that is your sweeper of the evening. You got the broomsticks out, and you got it done. Titus Sherlock takes the sprint race and the feature race here this evening. I am going to go ahead and pull up Jeff Mathis after our interviews are over. I wanted to get your final thoughts on the evening because there was a lot that went down here tonight. We had obviously the wet conditions for the first time in a race there in the sprint race. Very high track temperatures in the second race. Lots and lots of action here in this Formula Super Series, as always, but it seemed like it was on another level here.
It was definitely a pretty frantic night. I think that's my big takeaway from the race is frantic. Thank you very much for having me, Matt. It was a really fun evening. I'm very pleased with how the rain interacted with everybody. I think there was a lot of caution and a lot of being smart about things and not trying to rush too hard. We did see a lot of car-to-car contact in both races, but we didn't see a lot of retirements, and we saw a lot of, shall we say, good decision-making in moments. Sometimes the good decision-making didn't show up, but it seemed to more often than not do. And I think this particular event really showed the average level that the FSS and for most of these drivers, FIS, the FRS drivers, how good they really can be, because this was a particularly challenging weekend. We had vastly moving around track temperatures. I think the only time we had even remotely anywhere near 80 degrees on the track temp in Fahrenheit was heat race 1. Everything else was well north of 110. So to lose the grip and then to lose it, but then replace the new grip with rain, took a lot of adaptation, and it really forced a lot of drivers to be more adaptive. And really, you couldn't, if you had any little issues in your ability, they were really shown today. And the drivers that are really quite strong and the top ones of the series really showed themselves to be the top drivers in the series. Especially, love to see Groff and Daly both coming away with a 5th and 6th respectively. Multiple AMs in the top 10. It was a particularly strong race. I think it was potentially one of the better races in my remembrance of FSS, and hopefully something we can keep going for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, certainly. I think this is going to be the only broadcast that I'm a part of here for the rest of the season, but it's always a treat to be here for the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. I mean, it's a great crop of talent, and they really put it on display here every Monday night. So, thank you to everybody at GoSquadra and the admins that make this thing possible. Shout out to all the drivers that came out tonight. And I just want to give a big thanks to Jeff Mathis. We always appreciate your insight and analysis, and it's always nice to get another voice here in the booth to give us another perspective, and that's always nice. So thanks for hanging out with me here tonight. Greatly appreciate it. I believe that is all we have on Turn 200 for the rest of the week. There is no Thursday broadcast. Taking a little break for the 4th of July weekend. The Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series is. So you won't see us back until the GoSquadra Formula Super Series on Monday. So, you all get a nice week off from hearing either myself or Tommy on the broadcast booth. Everybody enjoy it, and then get your butts right back here on Monday, and let's get this thing cranked up once again. I mean, really great racing here tonight. If tonight didn't want to make you watch next week, I don't know what will. There were some interesting comments in the interviews after the race as well that are going to be interesting to watch throughout the rest of the season. There's no doubt about that. So, thanks everybody that tuned in, and thanks for the folks that were in the chat as well. Christian Jasper hopped in here towards the end of the race. Appreciate him tuning in and chatting with us. Kind of mentions that incident that he had. I believe it was with Zach Smith that he had.
So.
Always appreciate Christian being here in the chat with us. Shout out to Nate Siefker, always a friend of the channel, and Pokey Sandmon cheering on. Jeremy Carter. So thank you guys for tuning in, chatting with us, and anybody else that was watching. Very, very much appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Big congratulations to your top am tonight, Nick Goyette, your podium finishers, but a huge congratulations to the sweeper of the night, Titus Sherlock. Takes them both here in Italy. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you back on Monday.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.